At this year's Global Supply Chain Marketing Summit, one of the 4 pillars we're going to dive into is branding. The good news and bad news about branding for us is that the supply chain brand has now become very well known in the world. The bad news is the people who supply the products and services inside of that aren't necessarily yet as well known. But that's what we're going to work on, and that's what we're going to take care of this year. I'm so excited to be talking about branding in addition to the other 3 pillars with Allison Conway, the founder of C-Level Agency, which is a design and branding agency. And I cannot tell you how excited I am about her coming in to speak with us, especially since she is currently right now on the Camino de Santiago trail or pilgrimage over in Europe, which I'll let her tell you more about. Welcome, Allison.
Thanks, Ralph. Yeah, thank you for your flexibility and when we were able to talk. And my attire, normally I would have put on a blouse and a blazer, but I am currently on the trail. So sitting in my hotel in Spain, lots of stone and old buildings.
That is great. So listen, let's dive right into it. We're talking about branding and how important it is for everyone, but especially with folks in the supply chain. And one of the things you talk about in branding is how we need to be part of the multiverse and how we need to be consistent. Help us with kind of just an overview of that.
Yeah, so essentially I say that you need to sort of think of your brand as a universe within the multiverse. So the only thing that exists in your universe is your branding. So there are no other colors that exist outside of your universe. There are no other fonts. There are no other tones and connotations and language and the words that gets used. It's just your universe and nothing else exists outside of that.
Perfect. Yeah, the other thing I love that you talk about, and you and I have had the opportunity to meet several times in the past, is you talk about the other parts of branding, and one of them is the being goofy and being human. Help us just a little bit more with that.
Yeah, to put it really simply, a brand is the personality of a business, and you want to have a good personality. You want to be able to talk to each other like humans. You know, in industries where it can get a little intellectual, a little academic, a little stiff, you have to remember that even though we are industries, we are also humans. People sell to human beings. People buy from human beings. So that's really it. You can be yourself. You can be a little goofy, add a little bit of spice to your brand.
No, I love it, and it's funny when I tell people that, they often look at me like I'm crazy, but, coming from somebody who owns and runs a advertising and branding agency, they'll now think that's a really good idea. So, so I appreciate that very much.
Happy to validate you.
Thank you. The other thing you talk about is being a part of the community. And I want to be very careful here because what we do well in the supply chain space, I think, is we do things like trade shows and we do things like being in front of our prospects pretty well. But as far as being part of the community, year long over time, that might be something we can work on as it relates to our brand. Give us a little more insight on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So before starting my pilgrimage in Spain, I spent a few days in Ireland, and I was very lucky to go to the Guinness storehouse and was just absolutely struck by the genius brand management of Guinness. And so one of the things that they've done really well is basically make Guinness the calling card to the community. So essentially, you're sitting at a pub, you're drinking Guinness, and that is sort of indicating to your fellow man sitting next to you is, oh, you're drinking a Guinness, you're one of us. It makes it not necessarily the product, but what you want the product to feel like, what you want your brand to mean to the people in the community that you hope to reach.
No, I think that's great. And you talk about the experience. And, one of the reasons we're doing the summit is to create the experience. And, we're doing these year-long quarterly get-togethers so that we do have that experience. And let's close with, but let's not take this too seriously, or let's not overthink it, because I think sometimes, we kind of do the either or, black, white, pendulum swing thing. So help us with maybe a little bit of direction on not overthinking what we're doing here.
Totally. It goes back to the brand is the personality of a business. So if you think about yourself, you think about your own personality traits, the kinds of things you like to eat and drink, the kinds of things you like to wear. You're not overthinking it. You're just being yourself. So when you are really into understanding what your brand really is about, it can be natural and you can just be yourself. When you start to overthink it, when you start to, say, I've never been interested in golf, but now all of a sudden I'm going to start playing golf. It doesn't really make sense. Everybody in your family is going to be like, why are you all of a sudden playing golf? It just doesn't add up. It doesn't fit. It's not you. So that's really what that means. Just don't overthink it.
I love it. Yeah. And there's some real wisdom in those 3 words. Don't overthink it. So I appreciate that very much. Well, thank you for your time. I wish you the very best on your pilgrimage. I can't wait to hear all about it. And the cohort can't wait either. I'm sure they're going to be eager to hear how it went and to have you touch base with us at some point in time in the future. Thank you again.
Yeah, gracias.
And for more information on the Global Supply Chain Marketing Summit, go to supplychainbrain.com and click on the banner in the upper left-hand corner, and we will see you at the beach.